Presentation is about peyote, or Lophophora williamsi, a hallucinogenic plant in the cactus family. Peyote is a small, spineless button cactus found in the southwestern United States and Mexico. An alkaloid named mescaline is found in the cactus and is responsible for its psychoactive properties. It has been used for thousands of years for its ability to make people hallucinate. Archaeologists discovered two peyote cacti buried with a shaman in a cave along the Rio Grande River, which were radiocarbon dated to be around 3,700 years old. It takes roughly 30 years for the cactus to reach maturity. Because of its popularity as a recreational drug and the time it takes for it to grow, it is becoming endangered in the wild. It is classified as a Scheduled 1 drug by the Drug Enforcement Administration due to there being no current accepted medicinal use and the high potential risk for abuse. However, in 1978, the American Indian Religious Freedom Act allowed for peyote to be legally obtained and ingested by Native Americans while performing sacred rituals. The hallucinogenic properties of mescaline impact the psychological and cognitive functioning of the user. People report the experience as feeling that one is in communion with God, feeling disassociated from the body, boundless, and infallible. Visual sensations of light and color are intensified. Music and drum beats add to the power of the experience. Perceptions of time and self-awareness are distorted. One Native American user from the Navajo Nation described the experience as such: "When this is over, you will feel like a wash rag with all the gunk wrung out." There are several different ways to consume peyote. It can be chewed raw, soaked in water and drunk as tea, or dried and ground into powder to be mixed with fruit juice or jello. The alkaloids can give the plant a bitter taste, causing some people to vomit. It is rapidly absorbed in the GI tract. Native American rituals usually have participants fast, causing an increase in absorption rate from an empty stomach. Mescaline can depot bind to liver proteins, and large doses can be absorbed by the kidneys and liver, causing a slow rise in blood concentration. The half-life is reported to be around 6 hours. Mescaline has a low lipid solubility, making it harder to cross the blood-brain barrier. For this reason, higher doses of mescaline are needed compared to other types of hallucinogens. Comparisons of mescaline to acid and magic mushrooms will show that high doses of mescaline are needed for similar effects. Individual cacti can have a high degree of variability in mescaline dosage. Many things can affect the plant's potency, including the plant's maturity, soil nutrients, and growing conditions. One button cactus can contain 45 milligrams of mescaline. Mescaline has a longer half-life than other hallucinogens, which makes the experience last longer. Some reports say the high lasts from 12 to 24 hours. It is also rare that people report lingering effects called flashbacks after their experience. Mescaline is a metabotropic serotonin 5-HT2A and 2C receptor agonist, creating an excitatory reaction when bound. It can also bind to dopamine and noradrenaline receptors. Ketanserin is considered an antidote to peyote. It is a 5-HT2A receptor antagonist and will block all effects. If ketanserin is administered before the dosage of mescaline, the user will not feel any psychoactive change. Serotonin 5-HT2A receptors are found all over the cortex and hippocampus. When 5-HT2A cortical receptors are stimulated, altered cognitive and sensory perception occurs. Mescaline will also interact with noradrenaline receptors on the locus coeruleus and dopamine receptors on the basal ganglia. The locus coeruleus is an area of the brain that helps regulate the stress response. Administration of mescaline creates an effect where the individual feels euphoric, at peace, and at one with nature and deity. The basal ganglia is an area where sensory and motor pathways converge, causing the user to feel boundless and disembodied. The hippocampus is the primary memory center of the brain. Users frequently report that they can reprocess trauma and reconfigure memories to no longer hold the same emotional value, helping to alleviate depression and post-traumatic stress. There is current research being done to discover the therapeutic properties of mescaline for treatment-resistant depression and substance abuse disorders. Metabolism occurs mainly in the liver, where multiple enzymes break down the drug. Peak blood concentration does not coincide with peak drug effects, suggesting that activation of different metabolic processes need to occur to produce maximum effect. 28 to 58% of mescaline is excreted unchanged in the urine, and 13% is metabolized to an acid that I won't try to pronounce. Mescaline is chemically similar to amphetamines and will have the same types of withdrawal symptoms. These include nausea, hyperthermia, increased heart rate and blood pressure, restlessness, depression, agitation, and seizures. Peak withdrawals occur in the first 24 hours and taper over the next 2 weeks. Overdose is rare and toxicity can be reversed with ketansrin. Mescaline is considered more mentally addicting than physically addicting. Literature is sparse about fatalities related to mescaline. One study showed that no fatalities have ever been reported, and another showed that a man with an underlying condition had a fatal seizure. Generally, it is not considered lethal and the potential for abuse is low. Tolerance occurs over days, but resensitization happens quickly. Among Native American tribes that take mescaline as often as monthly to yearly, no permanent psychological or cognitive impairments were noted.